Hallelujah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show. It's your host, David McKaig, inside On TV Studios. You're listening to the show through On TV, obviously, or viewing the show that way as well, or on thegamesportshow.com. thegamesportshow.podbean.com as well. Either way, very happy you're able to join us here for, as an always, action-packed of the Game Sports Show. I'm here joined by my analyst, co-host, good friend, sort of newcomer to the show. He joined us in the summertime, Alex Barr.
I call myself the sophomore, not the rookie.
Okay,
just the sophomore.
Yeah, where you had a nice long vacation.
Oof, you did.
Yeah,
I did.
Well, from radio, we got back on ESPN 1400 right before Labor Day. But in terms of the TV side of the show, we are back and fresh from a month off. It was a month.
And now the show, this is not 30 minutes anymore. No way.
You're going to be with us for an hour. And who else are you going to be with for this hour? Well, we got Daniel Scarpino coming in. He is new soccer analyst and analyst of the Game Sports Show. We have Justin Heichel coming on the show at the end part of the show. And in between all that, we got Anthony Miller coming in. Anthony Miller, who is a special fan guest of the show. What's a special fan guest you're asking? Well, I will answer that once Anthony joins us. We're going to talk soccer with Daniel. Then when Miller comes on, we're going to talk hockey locally a little bit and also some professional. Then when Justin joins us at the end, we will be talking local and professional football. But right off the hop, Alex, you and I are going to be talking about some local hockey in our own end. And hockey season's here, and guess who's going to be on scene all year? It is the Game Sports Show with Sioux College, with the Sioux Thunderbirds, with the basketball side of Gomu and soccer, with Sioux College of soccer, with the Hounds, with the Eagles, with Blind River, with everything local you can think of, any team, we are there. The Game Sports Show will be covering it for you, and professional sports as well.
If there's a scoreboard, a ball, a puck, anything, we are there.
Definitely, and even from the professional side, which I'm excited to announce later on in the month as well. And we have a special guest who's going to be joining us next week here on the show. Very forward to looking with that. We were looking forward to him joining us here tonight, but he will not be here until next week. I can't say who it's going to be, but a lot of big things with the show. And don't hesitate to give us a follow at the Game Sports Show on Facebook and on Instagram. So let's get started.
All right.
Alex, let's get going. We're going to talk Sioux Thunderbirds quick. Okay, And with the Sioux Thunderbirds, you can give them a follow at Sioux T-Bird Hockey on Facebook. Some great graphics down there by Anthony Miller. Give him a little plug before he comes on the show. The Sioux Thunderbirds had 2 games this past weekend against the Blind River Beavers. Unfortunately, lost the home and home. I have a special place in Blind River because that's where I started and ended my junior career. Fun little fact. So Blind River, the Eagles and Thunderbirds will be teams that we're going to be covering in this region. But the Blind River Beavers started their season 4-0 as the Thunderbirds start 2-2 after 2 wins at the beginning of the year against the Eagles and the Express. The Eagles have not had a regulation win yet this year. They're 0-1-1. And the Thunderbirds are against the Eagles in a home and home this weekend. And in between that and before, they play tomorrow night against Rayside in the Sioux. So Thunderbirds, 2-2 start. They've been plagued with a little bit of injuries and suspensions. What do you have to say about the Thunderbirds?
I think what's going to hurt about losing to the Beavers twice is the last time they lost twice back-to-back was Game 6 and Game 7 of the NOJHL Finals last season. So, unfortunately, that's the way it had to go. But this is a 56-game schedule. There is so much time for them to pull it together. I was looking through the West Division as well. There's only 2 teams that have a positive goal differential, Beavers and the Thunderbirds. So I think if you're looking at anything, there's definitely some silver lining. Even though the 2 losses and 7 goals against is a little high, I think this season's in its infancy. Plenty of time to work out the kinks.
Definitely. Now, with the Thunderbirds, from the Sioux side here at the show, we're going to be there a lot with the Thunderbirds and also with the Eagles with Scott Neese on the other side of the border. But in particular with the Beavers, I got to give a shout out to Kyle Brick because he has done a fantastic job with that program. Okay, he has done a fantastic job with the Blind River Beavers program. And to start the year 4-0, a lot of expectations there in BR, as they like to be called. And they definitely got a great community that supports hockey. And we want to make sure that you get out to support all those 3 teams, especially the Thunderbirds, tomorrow night at the John Rhodes Community Center. Now, Sioux College men's hockey, they're moving up to Division 2 this year. They played Division 3 last year. They were Division 3 champions. Friend of the show, friend of mine, a lot of them are friends of ours as well, actually. Ryan Venderman. MVP type year, fantastic year,
goodness.
Obviously. Sioux College Hockey, they have a homecoming game this upcoming Saturday at the Rankin Arena against Miami, Ohio. And then they also have a game Sunday the 22nd at 12 p.m. at the Rankin, as you can see on the graphic there against Miami, Ohio. This is a very good hockey team that they're icing, and this is a very good program. You can look at their schedule on the Sioux College Athletics Instagram and Facebook page, and also on the Game Sports Show page, we shared their schedule as well. Alex?
Last year, Division 3 almost seemed too easy. I don't want to say that to the competition. competition that they went up against. But for the Cougars, they absolutely annihilated all the way to the finals. What did Benjamin have, like 6,000 points or something crazy like that?
Yeah.
The guy went off, and I feel like this is going to be a better test of the actual program skill. It is great to see a local sports program in a school move up. That's what I love to see here, and make sure we get recognized, get that competition, get recruiting a little bit easier, and things like that. For the homecoming game, that's this Saturday as well. If you check out the Sioux Online article, you can read all about it. $8 a ticket gets you to 3 games, the tailgate party, the whole, and you don't even have to go to the school. You don't have to be alumni. Nope. They just want the community to go out and support. And I think that's all we'd like to see, the community going out and supporting the local talent.
The big reason why we love promoting, they're not even just our program, but all the local programs, because they're exciting to watch. And we aren't just saying that because we have to talk about them. We want to talk about them, and they have some great talent, especially this Sioux College Cougars men's hockey program. They have some new recruits there. They also have some returning guys, including Benjamin. They have Austin Rowe there as well. Definitely some very strong, talented hockey players this year. And I would not be surprised if they were on top again at the end of this year, but they're going to have some more stiff competition this year. Very excited to see it. And we get to see it at their new home rink at the Rankin. They have a nice logo there now. Great rink to play at. One of my favorite rinks in town to play at. So it's definitely worthwhile going to check them out, especially this weekend. Sioux College, Sioux Greyhounds. Sorry, I'm all excited to talk about Sioux College. Sioux Greyhounds, home opener and home opening weekend to start the OHL season. They start against Flint on Friday, and then they play against North Bay on Saturday. And there's, as you can see on the screen right now, some key dates with the Hounds to mark on your calendar. But this weekend, puck drop.
Oh my goodness! I got to go out to one of their practices beforehand when they're still doing their training camp. I could feel the excitement, and I know a lot of people are saying, "Well, we lost our 3 highest point getters from last year," but weren't we saying that the year before? Oh, we lost all these players. Oh, what are we gonna do? The Greyhounds played amazing last year.
Yep.
They fought valiantly against the Windsor Spitfire, lost in 6. But I think with the addition of Prop, that's gone way under the radar. I think Sault Ste. Marie needs to do a quick check, open those eyes up. Prop had 2 50-save performances and 2 40-save performances in one round of the playoffs last year. I think the culture when it comes to the battalion and the Greyhounds are 2 completely different things. I went to North Bay for school. We worked alongside the program for a long time. So to see Prop come to a program that has had a lot more success, I feel like that'll play into his psyche a lot better. And I think the Sioux Greyhound faithful are going to be pleasantly surprised with how good this guy really is.
Now, you have obviously the question marks, the guys who are not returning. We know those guys. But Barrett Hayton, big question mark. If Arizona's going to take him, if not, what the position is if he comes back, what the Hounds are going to do, very simple. You're either keep him, make a run, or you trade him and get some massive value back. But the Hounds, and I said this on ESPN 1400 yesterday with Scott Nason, the Hounds will be a top 5 team in this conference. They will be a good team. Sudbury is going to be wild. They got the Byfeld there, who's a great prospect. The Saginaw's obviously going to be very strong. They got some Sioux products there. So there's some strong teams in their conference, but the Hounds are still going to ice a very good hockey team. They're still going to be very competitive. And if Hayton does return, there's someone in the wings that's very interesting to me, Malik.
Ooh.
The goaltender that they just drafted in the import draft. Yarmir Pitlick came over late last year. I think Malik's going to do the same thing. And if they have Prop and Malik, it might push Ethan Taylor out or other way around. But either way, goalies going to have to earn their spot. The Hounds know what they're doing. They've been a great organization for 7 years plus, well, ever since they've been in the Sioux.
Yeah.
But they've been a playoff team and a competitive team.
And like you say, Pitlick, the moment I was there for his first game, like
he's a first-round pick.
This kid's got something. He's huge. He can move, and that's not something a lot of big guys can do. Is actually move. His hockey IQ is there, and I feel like coming into the league first, there was a few bounces that didn't go his way. This year is going to turn a lot of heads. Him, Ryan O'Rourke, and Cole McKay are going to be household names in Sault Ste. Marie.
Cole McKay, angry guy this year. He didn't get drafted.
Oh my goodness, that's going to light the fire under his butt like nobody's ever seen. Cole McKay is going to go off. Ryan O'Rourke's going to have a huge year, and like I said, Christian Prop, amazing. Talent that Sault Ste. Marie might not really know that we have, but I feel like it was the same situation last year where we looked at, we lost all of these guys. But what about the guys that we still have? We're icing a terrific team this year.
It is going to be an exciting year all around. And hockey season just about to begin. A lot of local news, and we talked all about the hockey side of things. I want to also give a shout out to Algoma University basketball program making moves as well, and the Sioux College soccer program as well, Algoma Youth soccer program. Lots of things to follow in town. A lot of things happening this weekend in general, so you got to make sure you check all that out. But to end talking about the Hounds, home opener this Friday, 7:07 at the GFL Memorial Gardens. Oh, I love saying the Gardens. It makes me feel like a child again. We're going to take a quick break, Alex. When we come back, our new analyst here on the Game Sports Show, our soccer analyst and coach of Algoma University Soccer, Daniel Scarpino, will be joining us here. He'll be making his debut, so you definitely do not want to miss that. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave McKaig, and I'm rejoined by my co-host and analyst Alex Parr. And I'm here joined by new member of the Game Sports Show, new soccer analyst, overall analyst. He's also an Algoma University soccer coach as well, Daniel Scarpino. First off, welcome to being a part of the show.
Thank you
and
for
welcome
having
on the
me.
show today.
Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Awesome. We're very happy to be able to join our already stacked roster of analysts and people who are devoted to local sports and all the national sports we talk about. We're going to jump into talking a lot of soccer with you, obviously. You being our soccer analyst, obviously. It kind of makes sense that we jump in and talk about soccer. So we're going to talk about Algoma University and everything local in terms of soccer in just a few moments. But I want to get the listeners up to speed on your background in soccer and kind of your experience and what you're going to bring to as a coach and here on the show.
Well, in terms of coaching, I started actually coaching players just in a recreational sense, just giving training sessions through Algoma University, actually. From there, I went into youth soccer, coaching at the youth competitive level, and I did that for 6 years. I just stepped out of youth competitive soccer as of last month. But I started with the U14 team. I carried them through all the way till they were under 18. I took another U18 group this past year, and now I've moved into the varsity ranks at Algoma University. So I have 7 years of coaching under my belt, and yeah, that's basically my journey in coaching to this point.
Definitely safe to say that you have a lot of experience to bring to the table, eh? Is that fair enough to say?
I suppose so. I definitely need a little bit more, and I'm looking forward to what's ahead.
And just so to address the elephant in the room, yes, him and I are related. People know that are out there, that people are going to be listening. Yes, we are second cousins if you really want to know, but we're not going to talk about that because that's not sports related. Now, Algoma University is very lucky to have yourself, along with the great coaching staff. They have a lot of great individuals that are part of it. They made some changes on the basketball program as well. Algoma University is just making strides in general in terms of sports. And right now it's about soccer. You know, the men's side, they're getting to that point of trying to improve. The women's had their first win this year already.
Yeah.
You know, and you just had some action this past weekend. You did a great upload on the Game Sports Show Facebook page that you can check out. So just give us a little bit of a background from this weekend. Let's talk about what we can expect this year from the Algoma University Thunderbird soccer squads.
Well, this past weekend, both the men's and women's team played quite well, which was nice to see. And like you said, it's about making strides at this point, and it's about improving the culture of the program and taking the steps in the right direction. But yeah, this past weekend, the women dropped both of their games, but both games were close. They were right in both games. First game was 2-0. It was 1-1 up until halftime. Beyond that, they ended up losing the game, of course, but playing the right way, playing to a philosophy, playing to a system that Coach Neal has implemented at the university. So it was good for the women. For the men this weekend, they got their first points of the season against Waterloo. They drew 0-0 on Sunday, and again putting in two quality performances on the whole, which is basically the direction that the program is wanting to head in, putting in the right performances, because the results will come in time, of course. And in terms of what's going forward for the future at Algoma University with the soccer programs, it really is about building the culture. You take a look at many of the universities right now who have been programs for 30, 40, 50, 60 plus years.
Yep.
Algoma University has only been a soccer program for 7 years. I was there the first year that became a soccer program, but this is only their 5th year in the OUA.
Infant stage.
Very much so.
Yeah.
So, and the reality is we have to crawl before we can walk. But we're taking strides already. We've reached small milestones in the past, and there's a lot of good things to come, so I'm really excited for what's ahead of the university, and I think our city at large is really excited for what's ahead of us from a soccer perspective.
Sure.
And when it comes to coaching now, at what point during your playing career did you say, you know what, maybe I want to actually step behind the bench, maybe actually try to share some of my knowledge with the teams that I can actually help? And at what point were you just like, you know what, I think that's a good fit for me?
Well, when I was a kid, I used to record all of Arsenal's games that they played in the Premier League because that's the team that I support. And I would sit down with pen and paper and I would study and I would watch, and I really became infatuated and really started loving Arsenal Football Club back in 2002, 2003. So studying the game, realizing how, as a player myself, when I played, how I could beat an opponent tactically, what it meant when the ball got stretched out to the flanks, how we could beat somebody in behind, when an opportunity for a 1v1 arises, what could I do then? So I think in many ways that I've always wanted to be a coach and always saw myself in that way. Coach Neil inspired me to want to be a coach. When he coached me, I saw the sacrifices that he made. I saw the way that he interacted and treated the players. And ultimately what he did for me as a player is something that I'm forever grateful for. So I think in many ways I've always kind of been a coach, but in terms of what really sparked me, Coach Neil definitely inspired me to
Is it
want
as
to be that.
rewarding as you were thinking that it was going to be when you first were sitting down with that pen and paper?
From a youth competitive perspective, seeing the growth of the players and seeing what we've been able to do and see them go on to greater and better things, really, whether they've gone on to play at the varsity level or whether they've just gone on to do something great in their own lives through just recently graduating high school. In that sense, it's absolutely been rewarding. We've won some nice competitions. We've competed in Ontario's Tier 2 League for the past 5 years. So yeah, it's definitely been as rewarding as I thought it would be. And yeah, coaching is definitely single-handedly one of the greatest things that I've ever been involved in.
So you got now on the coaching side, and myself related, I played and then went into coaching right after. It's a transition.
Massive.
It is. And here in Sioux, Ontario, hockey's been the main sport for how many years? Now it's transitioned to other sports. Basketball's getting popular. Soccer's getting popular. And as long as the Blue Jays are doing good, baseball is even getting more popular, right? So on the soccer side, you even have Sioux College Athletics has a soccer team now as well. It's getting a lot of promotion that we will be doing a lot of coverage here on the show as well with. But Algoma University, having the growth that they have had, it's just fantastic from all the different programs, and transitioning from even the university level to the local level. I would say that Algoma University is kind of like the main point for that youth soccer in town. You know, if Algoma University soccer team is having a strong year and they keep improving, that's going to help intrigue the youth to want to join soccer and keep joining it. And our generation, I would say, are closer, because you're a little bit younger than myself, but you know, there was always the rep civic soccer and everything of such, but I think a big point to help the growth locally would have to be Algoma University to help get the youth into that soccer here in town.
Yeah, most definitely. And it's a goal that a lot of young kids can strive for, knowing that there's something at the end of their youth competitive career, or if they're in the academies, which I also have experience coaching, and knowing that, you know, if you do stay home and you do decide to study a program here at Algoma University or even Sioux College, that you can have a varsity athletic career. You can have a career past youth competitive soccer. So it's definitely a good setup to have. It gives kids something to strive for. And I also think it gives coaches an incentive to really want to put in the work for the players. So that way, if they do decide to go, they're well equipped and they're well prepared for when they take that next step.
Now, how is the youth development in your opinion, in your professional opinion? Is it on the right track like the Algoma University varsity soccer program?
I think in many respects, youth development is on the right track. I definitely do believe that we certainly need more coach development, because if we can't improve ourselves, there's absolutely no way that we can improve the players. But I do think in terms of the way that Canada on the whole and Ontario soccer has structured things for us going forward as coaches, I think Canada on the whole, from a youth development perspective, is on the right track. Of course, we still have so much room to grow. Yeah. We still have so much research to do, so many things to learn, so much input to gain. But at the end of the day, I think the wheels certainly are going in the right direction. And I think on the whole, we could look forward to a promising future of soccer in Canada.
Nice.
Well, Vince Carter had the Vince Carter effect for Canadian basketball. Do you think Alphonso Davies can have the Alphonso Davies effects when it comes to soccer?
He is a top player. He's certainly not at the world-class stage yet, but he is a phenomenal talent. And I think when you just see the transition of him from a player locally to what he is doing now, I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Do I think that he can have that impact? I certainly do. He's made waves really globally, and it's quite good to see what he's doing now. He's scoring goals. and he's someone that players can look up to. So do I think he can make those kind of waves? Certainly. I think he has the ability, and he's still so young, which is it's absolutely brilliant. So yeah, he's a top player, and I think he definitely has that ability.
I think if you're signing for that big of money, going to a team with that big of a name as an FC Bayern, that you must be able to make some waves. So fingers crossed for you, Alfonso. I know you're watching out here, so make sure that you do this for the country.
Definitely. Now, putting your analytics hat on here, analyst hat, coaching hat, what are some tips that you can give to the youth soccer? Obviously you have your program in Algoma U going by your strategy with Coach Neil Ovi and all that. So before we go to our break and let you go, what is some tips that you can give to the youth out there just to kind of get prepared and get ready for that next step in soccer if they want to get to that point?
Well, the biggest thing for me is to really enjoy yourself and know what you're getting into. I think one of the worst things that we actually do to kids is say that you just have to confine yourself to one sport. I'm a firm believer, especially with young kids, that you should try multiple different sports, that you should try different things. But once you're getting into soccer, I really do believe that as long as you're enjoying yourself and you're putting in the work and you're listening to the instruction of your coaches, that would be my best recommendation for youth soccer players. Everything else, I think, really does fall down to the coach and how the environment's set up, how the culture is organized, and how everything is going to flow. But if you're a kid, just really enjoy yourself, love what you're doing, and ultimately, the more you listen, the more input that you can get, and the better that you can become.
Daniel Scarpino, folks.
I love it.
Joining the Game Sports Show, analyst soccer side, coach soccer side with Algoma University. Check out Algoma University on social media. They have some upcoming games this weekend. Quickly, in 10 seconds, what are the games this weekend?
We got them. We're going to Guelph to play against the Guelph Griffins. So the women play Saturday at 1 o'clock, men at 3 o'clock in Guelph.
Definitely check it out. Some great soccer. Alex and I are going to take a break. Daniel's going to peel for the rest of the night and go home and put his feet up and hopefully relax.
100%.
We'll be hearing you on the Game Sports Show here a lot.
Definitely.
We're going to come back with part 3 of the Game Sports Show with our special fan guest. One only good friend of mine, Anthony Miller, so you don't want to go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. David McKagan side on TV Studios, joined by, again, Alex Parr, my co-host and analyst. And here joined by our special fan guest. I'll tell you what a special fan guest is in just a few moments. It's the one only Anthony Miller. Millsy, like to call you. Welcome to the show, pal. You're no stranger to the show. It's your second time on it, but you were on the radio side last time.
Yeah, pleasure to be here. You guys are doing a great job. So
that's great to hear from you.
Absolutely.
Now, before we even jump into it, we had our friends at Workforce Planning. So the Surrey Hospital wanted to say hi, in particular Vanessa Sotoretto and Emily Copy wanted to say hi in particular. So I made sure that I said hi to you with them. Okay?
Awesome.
Definitely missing you in the office. Now, we are going to be talking about some NHL news in terms of Mitch Marner, Austin Matthews, potential captaincy, some upcoming news in the National Hockey League, upcoming season. We're going to talk about the RFA situation. But first off, before we jump into that, you're currently doing work with the Sioux Thunderbirds. I wanted to give you the floor to talk about, to give the Thunderbirds a little plug.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the Sioux Thunderbirds are doing a great job with that hockey program there. I was fortunate enough to play back when I was 20, 21. Spent 3 years there with them, and again, they're doing an awesome job. Trevor Zachary, GM of the team there, another fantastic guy. So right now I'm doing kind of the social media stuff, Facebook, Twitter. Don't be afraid to give a follow at Sioux T-Bird Hockey. So we're just trying to get graphics out there, game day, game review, just give something to fans they kind of want to see. I know a lot of teams now are going in that direction. Social media is where it's at. So again, don't be afraid to give us a follow. But if we want to talk kind of upcoming games, we're playing tomorrow night actually, John Rhodes Community Center against the Royal Rayside Balfour Canadians. I was going to say Royal Bank Cup. But yeah, so that's a rival game there. We haven't seen them since last year. And then we got 2 upcoming games on the weekend. The Sioux Eagles back-to-back, little home and home. So tickets are $12 for adults. Seniors is $8. And then you can see 12 and under will be free. So come on down and enjoy it.
It's definitely exciting hockey, and as we touched on the first part, they had a disappointing home against the Blind River Beavers, but hoping to bounce back tomorrow night against Rayside. Now, people are going to ask what a special fan guest is. Just quickly, 15 seconds here to plug what that is. We started this special fan guest about a year and a half ago on the radio side, and Anthony Miller and another one was Mark Orlando were special fan guests. These are people that are top fans of the show, reached out. We talk a lot about the show. We talk sports and everything together. If you want to be a special fan guest on the show on the radio side or on the On TV Sue Online side, don't hesitate to reach out to one of us. And we may pick at random, despite all the inquiries that we do get, but we can get you on the show if you'd like to come on and join Alex and myself or anyone that's here on the Game Sports Show. So continuing into the show, we're going to talk the National Hockey League now. Mitch Marner, let's jump into it. It's kind of old news. It happened on Friday. We did talk about it on ESPN's 1400 edition that you could check on thegamesportshow.com and also on thegamesportshow.podbean.com. But Mitch Marner, 6 years, 10.893, of course, 9.3 had to be in there, million per season. And he's the third Leaf to make over $10 million a year. Between Matthews, Marner, Tavares, and William Nylander, there's about $40 million of money there. As Alex would like to say, franchise crippling, if you will. However, Mitch Marner signing, since you're our guest here, Anthony, talk about the Mitch Marner signing in your overall opinion, and just give us maybe a little story about Mitch Marner if you have that in your arsenal.
Well, I'll start with the contract signing first. Again, not a big numbers guy, and this might upset a lot of people, but I think he's worth it. And I know 10.893, whatever it is, hey, it's a lot of money, but again, we've all seen what he can do. You got a guy with 9 seconds of a game going down, blocking 2 shots back to back. That speaks volumes. And I'm not saying 2 block shots is going to pay me 10.893, but he's all heart. There was no doubt that he was going to sign there. I know he had a lot of people kind of on the edge of the seat, like, hey, where is he going to go? Where is he going to go? And I just actually read before coming in here was he had no, like he didn't want to go anywhere else.
No.
Toronto boy, grew up, born and raised, kind of going through the GTHL. For those of you that don't know, is Greater Toronto Hockey League. And now we'll go into my little story here. This is back in 2013, I believe, was my first year with the Sioux Thunderbirds. And we were fortunate enough to play in the W. Hewitt Cup, and I think that was in North Bay. And we played against the St. Michael's Buzzers at the time. And there was a call-up. This little 16-year-old who's just a little cage on. Everyone had a visor. And there was this one kid, I'll call him a kid, that's what he was back then, just buzzing around the ice. Like, he's unbelievable. And we all just kind of looked at the bench. We're like, who is this guy? And it turns out it's the same guy getting this 10.893. So that's my little story with Mitch Marner. And I did have a buddy of mine, close buddy of mine, actually play a couple of years with him into London Knights. So heard he's a great kid. And you know what? I think he's very deserving of it. And hey, 6 more years. He's only 22 years old. So all the power to him. I think he's going to do great.
That's a lot of money. Alex?
It is a lot of money. Is it too much? Yes. But was he going to get that much money regardless of where he went? Yes. What's something worth?
If not more.
As much as someone will pay. That's all something is worth. Sure. And Mitch Marner, he's making the money. Is he justified? One superstar season, so hard to just say all this money, but everything we've seen, like you said, the blocking the shots, speaks volume on his heart, his ability. I don't think Tavares has scored easier goals in his entire career as compared to last year.
Yeah.
So they needed to lock him down. It's locked down. It's not running into William Nylander going 3 months into the season territory. It's done. Lace those skates up. You can see the window now, Leafs fans. You know how long you have to win. Yeah. Win, well, you can.
See, here's the big thing that I argued yesterday on ESPN 1400. We talked about how we used the word franchise crippling, yes, was the word that we use in terms of money. But really, I don't think it is. And here's why I don't think it is. And this is me taking off my Leaf fan hat on, keeping my host hat on for a second, okay? I'm saying I have been suffering as a Leaf fan for 28 years. I just turned 28, so my whole life I've been suffering as a Leaf fan. No cups, okay? Heartbreak, losing in the worst ways. 2013 to Boston was one way, of course.
Last year,
or last year. It's just, And these are the type of players, the generational talent. And we have that. Matthews, Tavares, with Marner. Morgan Riley is surfacing as a Norris candidate. If not last year, he could have been a Norris candidate. And Frederik Andersen is playing astronomical numbers. He's great in Toronto. Babcock being there, it's a great time to be a Leaf fan. But my whole point of this is Mitch Marner signing for $10.893. Okay, remember it's backtracked to Leon Draisaitl signing his contract. Everybody looked at that and said, oh, Edmonton's a bunch of idiots. Yeah. Oh, dude, that is not going to work. Hey, the cap went up. Now everyone's like, oh, I wish I had Leon Draisaitl's contract on my books. Now, this is why Dubas was hired. Yes, he's from the Sioux. He's a great GM. He's a smart guy. He knows what he's doing. That's why he's the GM. But him and his assistant GM, who helped bring in the cap in the National Hockey League, okay, know how to work this cap. There's going to be increase. The cap is going to go up. And will it be this year? Obviously not. Will it be next year? No. The year after that? Yes. You can see the cap go up maybe $4, $5, $6 million bucks. And then that's when they say, wow, okay, that contract was actually good. And if he keeps getting 94 points a year, and if we win or when Toronto wins a Stanley Cup, is it really going to matter? That's my whole point. But my whole thing is they have cap geniuses in that office. And 10.893 might not be too bad for Marner. Columbus or Minnesota are the teams that apparently surfaced that gave him an offer sheet, would have offered him more, as the rumors surfaced with Elliot Friedman just the other day. So all in all, Mitch Marner going there and re-signing is what we wanted. We got it, and let's enjoy it because their top 9 forwards are there for 2+ years. They have a nuclear of guys. The only thing that's concerning is the decor for this year. Tyson Barrie was a great ad.
Yeah.
But you know what? Maybe they'll hold tryouts for a defenseman. I'm not too sure. I'm going to get a diamond in the rough. But there's some good prospects coming up. Sandin, Lingurin. There's a lot of guys coming up. Mitch Marner's contract may end up being like a Draisaitl situation. What do you think of that?
Absolutely. And like you said, a lot of great prospects. If we're going to talk the D end of things, I think the Leafs have their forwards. D end of things, you can look at former local product there, Mac Hollowell. Has a good shot. I know Babcock really liked him, so all the power to him. And we know what he can do up here. There's a lot of Sioux fans, a lot of, that are a Leaf fan. So I'm sure they would love to see Mac throw on the blue and white. So there is a lot of prospects down the D there.
Definitely.
And it's going to come to those guys on those cheap entry-level deals that will be able to squeak into the lineup and not really have to fumble around. I think the Leafs right now are sitting, $13 million over the cap, not counting Horton and Clarkson going on the IR, but that's still $3 million.
Our boy Clarkson, legend.
Davey Clarkman, Leafs legend. Yeah. But they're still $3 million over the cap, so I have faith that they'll be able to figure it out. They got Brendan Pridham, like you said, the guy that made the rules for the salary cap. So someone who's going to know what he's talking about and how to manage it, but it's going to be those cheap deals. I think of people like Jeremy Bracco, Mac Hollowell, Sandin, those kind of young guys that'll be able to come in, come out, sit in the press box one night, but they're going to have to rely heavily on big performances from those guys in the next 2 to Marner's 6-year deal.
Oh, for definitely. Sure. Yeah. See, now here on the Game Sports Show, we talk everything national, including we give a lot of love to Toronto, Detroit, Montreal, and Ottawa, and all the Canadian teams. I know we're just talking Leafs right now because that's a hot topic, and obviously our special fan guest being a Leaf fan in connection with the two of us. But so that's the Mitch Marner contract situation. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk about Matthews and Marner in terms of leadership roles, potentially. And then we're going to dive into some RFA discussion and also some upcoming season chat. Anthony Miller will be back after this break with myself and Alex. Listen to the Game Sports Show here in On TV Studios. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. Dave McKeag, Alex Parr, rejoined here with Anthony Miller, a special fan guest, and we're continuing into hockey talk. And we're going to transition from the previous part before the break with Mitch Marner, talk about the Leafs still, about Matthews, and Marner will be included in this as well. Yeah. There was leaked photos, that Austin Matthews, had the C on his jersey in media day. Leaked photos everywhere. Ever since then, every media outlet has erased them. I can tell you right now, as we like to call them, the Toronto Mafia has probably made sure those have came right down. As the graphic is showing with the C on Matthews' jersey, that's how it would look if it was. That is not the leaked photo because the leaked photo has been erased. It's nowhere to be found. Matthews captain, Marner assistant with Tavares and Riley. Does that make sense? Alex, I'll go to you first.
It does make sense to me, but I think what would have made a lot more sense is when they're negotiating Matthews' contract. They say, hey, we want you in Toronto. You're a big part of our future plans. When you sign this deal, we'll give you this seat. Do you think that would have maybe been able to take a little bit less money for Matthews, where they say, this is our bargaining chip, we want you as the captain, but we need pieces to build around you. Can you take a little bit less? I think giving him the C now is a little too late. Obviously, big honor, and Matthews isn't going to look at it that way.
If he gets it, this is.
I'm gonna say it as if he's getting it for sure, because I don't think the Leafs PR department is going to go actively delete photos from the score and places like that. I just think they should have used it as a chip in those contract negotiations. I feel like you could have got Matthews cheaper, and I feel like you could have been able to spend a little bit more money elsewhere, as the Leafs really do need every cent now.
Now, see, hockey players, so say goalies are weird. I think hockey players are weird because I think Matthews took that contract, 11.634, first overall pick, 2016, number 34. Right? It's like Sidney Crosby signed 8.7. It's like Marner with 10.893. Why doesn't it have to be 893? Why couldn't it be 8 or just round up? Right? That's Mills. Matthews captain, Marner, Tavares, Riley A. Does that make sense? And if Matthews is named the captain, good move by the organization.
You know what, longtime Leaf fan, like we were saying, Matthews for sure. He's my lock. As a Leaf fan, like as soon as he went first overall, everyone was just kind of eyes open, like this is our guy. You know what I mean? The Wendell Clark, the Matt Sundin, the Doug Gilmour. Matthews is our guy. Yeah, we have John Tavares, great guy again. But I think Matthews gets the C, Tavares A, Marner A as well, and I think on the back end, Morgan Riley will, I think, keep his A. He had an A last year, I believe so. Yeah. But, and I always bring it back to Matthews' kind of press conference last year, I think it was, when he said, hey, a letter's a letter. You know what I mean? If you put a C on his chest, you put an A on his chest, he's not going to change his demeanor. No. You know what I mean? The guy plays hard. It doesn't matter what kind of game it is. Doesn't matter if he's got a letter on his chest, where he is. He's a workhorse. So all those guys on the Leafs are. It might upset Nylander that he doesn't receive a letter, but you look at a guy like that, he wants to hold out up until November. So, I mean, I'd keep letters away from him if I was the coach. But again, Babcock's decision in the organization there. But I definitely think Matthews is a lock for captain.
See, the big thing with me was I thought bringing in Tavares, what they did, I thought maybe the C would be in that pitch. But my choice for captain has been Morgan Riley from the start. And the reason why, longest tenure, it's heart and soul guy on the back end. You have all these guys around Marner, Matthews, and Tavares, all this media. I think if you give Riley the C, it just pulls away from that. It just erases the drama. It just says, why'd you choose Matthews over Tavares? Why'd you choose Tavares over Matthews or vice, right? I think giving it to Riley longest term, it just gets away from that. And I think that's what I would have rather seen if Matthews for sure gets the C. But it'd be interesting.
And I want to add to that point too. Riley's a guy that's been there through the dark times, who has seen the media destroy that team, pick it apart,
jersey throws,
run coaches out of there, let's go Blue Jays chants. And he's still here, performing at his highest level yet. A guy that's on the ice a little bit more than forwards too. I think the C would look good on him, but I think the day Matthews was drafted, it was changed. The culture around the Leafs was changed. They changed the logo. They wanted to get away from that old logo, the one that was related to losing. They had a new coach, new GM. It was the change. It was a, pardon the pun, turning of a leaf, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think Matthews, it just has to be. I think the stars are kind of aligned for that to happen now.
Now, we're going to transition now from Toronto, because we have a couple more topics to jump into, gentlemen. Brock Besser is one of the latest RFAs to fall at the market. 3-year bridge deal of sorts, if you call it that. Yeah. 2 years usually bridge deal, but $5.8 million per, approximately around that area for Brock Besser. You had some RFAs fall off the market. You had Charlie McAvoy re-signing with the Bruins. You had Zach Werenski re-signing last week. You had Jared Spurgeon sign a big contract in Minnesota, absolutely massive, with an extension there. But there's still some RFAs remaining. Now, Mills, I know there's a couple RFAs that you probably want to talk to in particular, but some big names remain. And the one that's fascinating to me is Braden Point. And I'll jump into that in just a few seconds. I'll go to you first.
I think one that stands out to me, and you can see it on the screen there, is Patrick Laine. I think he, correct me if I'm wrong, went second overall after Matthews. And maybe it's Winnipeg can't come up with the money. That might be the problem. But again, I just watched an interview and he looked happy as can be over across seas. He had, like, people were asking him, hey, like, why don't you want to go back? And he was just happy with where he was. And it was very shocking to see, because you see a guy at that caliber, you know he's going to be the captain if he's not now. I don't think he is right now, but you know he's going to be there soon. And to play in Winnipeg, that's probably one of the best hockey cities in the world.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to just see how happy he was. And hey, maybe he's, you know, maintenance down there and taking his time with contract talks and stuff like that. But hey, man, it's the NHL. I think anybody would love to play there. It doesn't matter if you're playing across cities. Yeah, exactly. So that's my probably biggest surprise, that he's still up there. But I mean, the season's still a month away, so anything can happen, and we'll see what happens here.
For me, when it comes to line A, when he's not scoring goals, he's not doing anything.
He's not defensively responsible. Sorry, I'm not in the NHL, nor will I ever be close to getting to the National Hockey League. But I'm just saying, you're right. He's without scoring goals.
Yeah, I was almost putting up looking for lost photos because he's nowhere on the ice. The guy, if he's not scoring goals, he's invisible. He doesn't back check hard. I never see it. His skating's okay. I feel like he must just be asking for more money. Matthews money, exactly.
Good luck.
Good luck.
You're a $7 million guy, $8 million guy, in my opinion.
If he can hit 40 consistently, it's hard to say he's not worth a 10 even at the front of that. But that's going to be so hard when you say, but we have Kyle Connor. Why don't we just sign him instead? I don't really see.
He's a good coming prospect.
He went absolutely nuts last year. He went off and potted. What did he score 40 last year? Close to it. Line, man. Hey, if you're happy playing at home, you're happy playing at home. But I think you need to prove to the world that how good you really are, and I don't think a little bit of controversy should deter you away from that.
Yeah. Now, the one name that sticks to me is Braden Point, and I'm taking this straight from Steve Dangle. Anyone who's a Leaf fan knows exactly who Steve Dangle is. His YouTube videos are very animated, if you will, and I'm a fan of what his work is. A little plug for Steve there. But you have Braden Point, who arguably has the same statistics as Marner.
Yeah.
Yes, on a better team. Sorry to Leaf fans out there, they're better. Tampa Bay is a very good hockey team. But Braden Point is a big part of why that team is so good. Not just Kucherov and Stammer and Hedman. Braden Point doesn't play with Kucherov as much, just on special teams. He is with Kaloran, or he's with Sorelli. He's with different guys going around. Braden Point arguably deserves what Marner's getting. Why doesn't he get $9 million, $10 million bucks? Yeah. It's hard to say why not to him. Mikko Rantanen, same thing as Marner. Why doesn't he get the same amount?
The reason why Point's not going to get as much as Marner,
and he's a centerman Point,
is because he's going to go, well, I'm on a team where our best player, the best player in the league, only makes $9.5 million. How can I go ahead and ask for more?
Sure, yeah.
Bringing it back to the Matthews point with the captaincy, that's why I wish you would have taken a little less. Okay, done on the Matthews rant.
Yeah, definitely. Now, for this year, okay, you have a very, very big year ahead for Toronto, Canadian teams in general. Okay, quickly, since we have to go to break shortly here, around the table here.
Yeah.
What are you looking forward to most in the season? Alex, go to you first.
Opening puck drop. I am so ready for this season. The Greyhounds are starting. The Thunderbirds are underway. It's starting locally. It's that time of the year. I'm just ready. I'm just so ready for the season to start. Maybe play Dave in some NHL before the year's over. Beat him a little bit, maybe for the show.
I don't lose. Millsy, what do you look forward to this hockey year? Local or professional?
Local side of things, doing a little coaching with the Bantam hockey team, so excited for that to start. That's coming up soon. NHL side of things, again, really excited for my Leafs. Yeah. I can never sleep on them. So, but you know what? There is one sleeper here, Buffalo Sabres. Again, picked up a local product, Colin Miller.
Yeah.
But you know what? They've picked up some good guys. I think this is their 50th anniversary season too, and they might turn some heads. They were kind of basement players for a little bit, but they're coming up the ranks.
They are. Local, I couldn't agree more. Macklin with you guys here with Thunderbirds and Hounds. Professional, Millsy, I'm going off you. Leaf puck drop. This could be the year. Maybe this will be the year for Toronto Maple Leafs fans and Winnipeg's turnaround this year. Losing some guys. Excited to see what Paul Maurice and company can do there. Now, before we go to break, Anthony, I want to say thank you for coming on by, pal.
I appreciate it.
I know you're a little bit nervous coming on. See, it's good. No? It's fun. We had a good
Yeah, I
time.
know, it's good.
And we'll have you on sometime again in the future, especially
Appreciate
with
it.
local hockey and the Thunderbirds. So
Absolutely.
thanks again to Anthony Miller. Alex and I are going to take a quick break. When we come back, Justin Heichel, our good friend that's been here since the beginning of the show in 2015. We're going to get into some local football and professional football here on The Game. Don't go anywhere.
All right, boys.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show. And as the graphic just told you, we are kicking off in the pocket. Alex gave me the eye roll. I like that. That's a famous eye roll I get with my puns. I'm going for the punt. No?
That's a stretch, Dave. That's a stretch.
We have fun here. So without further ado, though, before we go into In the Pocket right away, I want to introduce the Game Sports Show's own
Here I am.
Justin Heichel, been part of the show since 2015, one of our analysts, one of our co-hosts, especially through our Wednesday and Thursday show from Sports Center Bar and Grill and Northern Superior Brewing Company. Justin, thanks for coming on.
Hey, it's good to be back. Nice to be on the screen again with everyone.
Yeah,
Took
long
a little
vacation.
relaxed through the summer there, but
Yeah, now
back.
it's picking up. Now we got lots. The Twin Cities only local regional national sports show will be there for everything local and professional for you. And we're going to get it going right now with local football. Usually Matt Primo, who is our main subject matter for analytics on the football side, and Jamie Antonello. We do not have a show tomorrow night from Sports Center Bar and Grill due to the Dean Brody and Dallas Smith concert. Yes, a lot of members of the Game Sports Show are going to that. So we're going to combine our Wednesday show into our Thursday show this week. So we have a mega show from Northern Superior Brewing Company this Thursday. So we're going to let Primo jump into more of the inside analysis of the local football. But just to give a little recap, Core Football, give them a follow on Instagram. They had games in the United States this past weekend in Escanaba, great football team over there in Escanaba, as myself and Scott Nason talked about on ESPN 1400 yesterday. And obviously St. Mary's played against Superior Heights last weekend. There's also games this upcoming weekend as well with Cora. So you got to check out those games. Local football is always great, and we're going to leave that to Matt Primo and hopefully Jamie Antonello for tomorrow, for Thursday night from Northern Superior Brewing Company. We're going to jump right into talking about the NFL. Okay, we've had week 2 happen, fellas. My fantasy team started 1-1. I didn't have a great week last week. If you're a Steeler fan, Big Ben's gone for the year. You know, you bring in Fitzpatrick from the Dolphins for a first. Looks like Mason Rudolph is going to be the guy going for the rest of the year. Bradford is still on the sidelines. I wonder if that is somebody that maybe the Steelers want to bring in to be a backup. But you have Big Ben Roethlisberger, who signed a 3-year deal this past offseason. His arm, he's done for this year. Can the Steelers rebound is one. So we're going to talk about the Steelers briefly there. Antonio Brown drama. Yeah, we got a little bit to that to talk about. And just the games of week 2. And then we'll choose our game for the week for game 3. Or for week 3, sorry. So jumping into first, I want to talk about the injuries that have occurred in the National Football League, in particular with week 2. Okay, Drew Brees down for 6 weeks, which ouch for Saints fans, including Jamie Antonello and Dustin Grondin, analysts of the show. Steeler fan like myself, losing Big Ben, and it just seems like it's been a season right now of injuries. Can the Steelers rebound from being down 0-2 to start the year?
I mean, it's definitely a rough week for the 2006 draft class. I mean,
yeah,
Eli today, Big
Yeah.
Ben with the elbow.
Yeah.
But as far as the Steelers go, I think it's going to be a tricky one. They had a rough go against the Patriots opening the season on Sunday night. Couldn't really get the offense going. Everything was kind of sputtering. This week, you know, they looked a little bit better. Optimism amongst Steeler fans, you included. And things were going great until you saw Ben rubbing his elbow there, and
you knew and
that was it.
No.
And I mean, this is year 1 of that 3-year extension. So I don't know that he's personally. I don't know that he's going to play out that 3-year extension, and especially now with James Conner being. I'm not sure what the extent of that injury is, but if your running game's down, your quarterback's down,
a little bit of trouble.
your number 1 receiver left town. That's a rough year.
What do you think of the injuries, Alex? It's been awful so far this year.
I think for the Steelers this year, I would have cut my losses. I don't know if I'm trading a first-round pick. I don't know if I'm even going to try. The writing's on the wall there, I think, for them. And I know this is probably hard to hear. I don't know. As a Packers fan, life's great. I'm having a great time. I don't know what injuries. What? Nothing.
Aaron Rodgers, buddy, looking
yeah.
pretty sharp. And we also have a lot of faithful Lions listeners and even Bills fans that follow the show. Bills are 2-0 to start the
Bills
season.
Mafia.
Antonio Brown starts in New England. and he gets a touchdown. He's had a lot of problems come up with his emails, apparently. We're going to jump into that a lot when it comes to our Thursday show with a little bit of details, but apparently he might have skipped elementary school and maybe high school or college, potentially. But Antonio Brown starting in New England. Ouch if you're a Steeler fan, but wow, the mess there is absolutely insane. And we talked about that on radio. You can check out previous editions on thegamesportshow.podbean.com or on our website. His debut, Alex, what'd you think of his debut? How do you look in the Patriot colors?
I mean, it's right there. 4 receptions, 56 yards, a touchdown. Not bad when you're getting worked into one of the best systems in football right now. I'm feeling it out a little bit. But for Brown and all of this uproar, aside from the new allegations coming out and just looking at the football side of things, for him to go from the worst team to arguably the worst team to the best team in the league, arguably the best team in the league, you say he skipped school, but it looked pretty smart of a move for him to do. I mean, the way he did it was the most childish, outlandish thing I've seen in sports in some time. But I don't think any one of us can sit here and say he's made the wrong move. He's playing for the Patriots now. Tom Brady's throwing Antonio Brown the football. A team's third best corner is going up against Josh Gordon. Are you kidding me? The Patriots almost have a cakewalk to the Super Bowl.
Now, you're an Indianapolis Colt fan. You saw Andrew Luck retire this year. Very unfortunate. We talked about it on our last week Wednesday show. But in terms of week 2, what is your game that you liked last week, Justin? I know you want to jump into week 2 a little bit.
I mean, so you know what? There's quite a few decent games going into week 2. The big one for me, what I was most concerned about not most concerned, but most interested in going into week 2 was the Detroit Lions. Tying that game week 1, where they were going to go. Were the Lions the real deal with that offense? Matt Stafford looked really good. New tight end Taylor Hawkinson looked really good.
Yep.
Actually, running game looked all right, and the defense seemed to be pretty good. Like, these weren't the Lions that we left, 2018 with. These were the new 2019 Lions. They looked pretty good, but it was a close one again. Arizona did start to come back. Whether that's showing us that Kyler Murray is the real deal, and Christian Kirk's clicking there and everything else, or the Lions are just keeping it entertaining for their fans.
Yeah, and against San Diego to pull away with that was huge. And if you ever want to go to a Lions game, just go to SportsCenter because they have their 4 game day ticket draw that they have every time you have a chance to go to the Miller Lite Tap Room. And that is in Ford Field in Detroit. Some good football there in Detroit right now. They're undefeated too. 1-0-1. Okay, they're still undefeated right now. But now with week 2, one thing that really stood out to me was just the injuries with the Steelers was one thing, and the Browns. They had a good showing. They did play the Jets yesterday, but they had to get on that right foot, right? But now going into week 3 that we're going to talk into, the one game that sticks out to me for week 3 is the Rams and Browns. That is my game of the week. The Rams were, in my opinion, my Super Bowl pick this year in a rematch. I don't know if I'd pick the same because I think the Patriots, unfortunately, might walk away with another title this year. But nonetheless, the Browns have a big test this upcoming week, okay, against the Rams. And you have Goff, you have Baker Mayfield, you have Odell Beckham. You have a team with the Rams that just all the way around just great. And Matthews in a Rams jersey is just different. You following him, Alex, in Green Bay. That is my game of the week. And really, I think the Browns have a chance to upset the Rams. But at the end, I think the Rams will walk away. But this will be a good test for Cleveland. Alex, I'll go to you for your week 3 game of the week.
I think the best stat I've heard all day is the Miami Dolphins are now 1 in 10,000, was it, Justin?
Yeah.
If you're telling me you're not going to place a $1 bet on the Dolphins to win the Super Bowl, that is a great bet. I want to cheer for the underdog so bad. I've been doing it my whole life. I've worn that Leafs hat, and I've cheered for the worst teams I could have ever imagined seeing. Let's go Dolphins. Let's go Dolphins.
That's your new week. Okay. All right. Justin, your week 3.
Oh, that's a bad picture.
As far as week 3 goes, I'm going to give a shout out to our buddy Dane, also analyst on the Game Sports Show. You hear him often through the winter, not so much in the summer. He's
pretty quiet.
Too busy putting out fires. But the Colts play the Falcons this week, so I think 2 remaining starting quarterbacks in a game this week. I think that's a good one.
I think so. It's going to be too. So you have local football going on this week. The Hounds home opener, as we touched
Friday night.
into. We have a lot of local stuff. There's a lot of professional stuff, and the season is just beginning. Just the excitement here on the game. So excited for that. And on Thursday, since we again don't have a show Wednesday at Sports Center, we will be rescheduling that to next week. But Thursday from Northern Superior Brewing Company, we'll have a mega show. We like to call it. We're going to talk more NFL and more sports all in all together. So we'll get more analysis from myself, Alex, Justin, Matt Primo, Daniel Scarpino will be there as well. We hope Jamie Antonello can join us. There's going to be Tom Annett we're planning to join there as well. It's just a stacked crew that we have for Thursday, so you definitely don't want to miss that. Now, Justin, I want to thank you for you coming on by. This has been In the Pocket, and we'll have more In the Pocket on Thursday.
Sounds good, buddy.
Definitely. Alex, again, as always, thanks. We'll see you Thursday. And listeners, thank you for joining us here on The Game Sports Show. Hopefully you enjoyed our show. Don't hesitate to follow us at The Game Sports Show on Facebook and Instagram. And don't hesitate to follow Sue Online and on TV. They do great work, and all the sponsors and partners here of the game. And until Thursday, I'm here to remind you to all you have a good night, and we will talk to you on Thursday. Booyah.